Welcome to Tale of Deception Studio. After you've finished viewing, pass this narrative along to someone who might benefit from it. I am Thomas, a man who once equated silence with strength, only to discover that power lies in documentation. For 15 years, I cherished what I considered a flawless marriage. My partner was Nicole. We met at college, got married young, and constructed what seemed an unbreakable life together. 3 children, 2 boys and a girl, a suburban house, weekend barbecues, school pickups, the complete picture. I held a position as operations manager in a logistics firm, long hours, satisfactory income, nothing extravagant. Nicole functioned part-time as a marketing consultant, affording her adaptability with our children's schedules, or so I believed. The first hint of discord occurred on a Tuesday night in March, an early return home from a conference that was prematurely terminated. Nicole's phone lay on the kitchen counter, ringing persistently, while she attended to our youngest upstairs. I briefly glanced at the screen, not out of spying, but because the preview displayed a message from someone called Kay, simply asking, "Miss you." My stomach sank, yet I remained unmoved. I didn't reach for the phone, nor did I rush upstairs to demand explanations. Instead, I began to pay attention. Over the subsequent week, I observed details I had previously been too preoccupied or trusting to notice. Nicole was constantly on her phone, but now I observed how she subtly hid it from me. She mentioned client meetings that frequently ran late, and when I casually inquired about them, her responses were unclear. Additionally, she suddenly started going to the gym 4 times a week, having rarely gone once monthly beforehand. The most troubling aspect? She appeared happier, more lively, as if she possessed some hidden source of joy that did not stem from us or our children. I could have challenged her then, but something held me back. A part of me yearned to, yet something restrained me. Perhaps it was denial, perhaps strategic reasoning, possibly fear of the truth. Whatever the reason, I chose an action that felt chilling as I took it. I would catalog everything. Initially, I focused on her phone. After all, we had always shared our passcodes and had nothing to conceal, right? One evening, while she was sound asleep, I perused its contents. What I uncovered left me physically ill. A series of text conversations with someone called Kyle, initially playful then explicit in nature, arrangements to meet up, mentions of a hotel, and timestamps suggesting they had been communicating for at least 4 months. Yet, that wasn't the entire story. While continuing to scroll, I stumbled upon another discussion, this time involving someone named Trevor with a different tone, yet comparable themes. Another affair, or possibly the same one that had progressed, I wasn't sure. I took screenshots, many of them, and saved them to a secret cloud account she was unaware of. I delved further, examining our credit card statements for over a year, noting unfamiliar hotel bills and restaurant expenses on evenings she claimed were book club nights. A pattern began to emerge, suggesting this deception had been ongoing longer than 4 months. The revelation left me feeling disoriented. Each day I returned home, shared dinner with my family, assisted with homework, watched TV with my spouse, all the while knowing that the person I believed I knew did not exist. Yet, I maintained a composed facade, continued to collect evidence, even installing a recovery app that preserved deleted messages. Nicole had been cautious, but not meticulous enough. I uncovered conversations she had attempted to erase. Expanding list of names, hotels. The scale was astounding. 2 months yielded proof of 5 separate affairs. Some fleeting, some persisting, some with strangers I hadn't met before, and one with Brandon, a name that chilled me. Brandon, who was married to Lydia, Nicole's sister, my brother-in-law. This betrayal ran deeper than all the others combined. Despite this, I didn't confront her. I knew she would deny it, distort the truth, make me doubt myself. With true crime shows and horror stories in mind, I was aware that without solid proof, divorce court could ruin me. She could claim I was controlling, paranoid, abusive. She could seek custody. She could take everything away. So, I enlisted a private investigator. Not Marcus, as previously mentioned. His name was actually Greg, and he was costly. However, I had been stealthily saving money in an account she wasn't aware of, from bonuses, side jobs, tax returns. Greg meticulously investigated Nicole for 3 weeks and provided visual proof of her activities. Her rendezvous with Kyle at a hotel, luncheons with Trevor, and an intriguing scene in Brandon's car parked at a shopping mall 6 months after I discovered the first text message. With this evidence, I decided to take action. I informed Nicole that I desired a divorce. Her response was comical yet unsurprising, as she displayed shock, tears, and questions about why and what I had done. She pleaded for counseling, but I hadn't revealed the infidelities yet, merely stating that we had grown apart and it was time to part ways. Initially, she resisted, possibly thinking she could gain an advantage in court. Later, it seemed she reluctantly accepted it, perhaps planning to clean me out financially. We followed the expected route with lawyers joining the fray. Discussions about custody began, and Nicole emphasized her devotion as a mother. My attorney constructed an argument portraying me as a neglectful workaholic who left Nicole feeling abandoned and overburdened. I chose not to challenge this narrative, allowing them to believe they were gaining the upper hand. Our initial hearing, scheduled for September, was meant to address temporary custody and financial support matters. With confidence, Nicole entered the courtroom accompanied by her lawyer and her mother and sister Lydia for moral support. I carried 3 neatly organized and labeled file folders with me. Judge Patricia Brennan, a stern woman in her late 50s, scrutinized the initial filings before addressing Nicole's lawyer first. He delivered an entire speech about Nicole's commitment to the children, her willingness to forego career opportunities for presence, and how my demanding work schedule disqualified me as a primary custodian. The judge then questioned me, Mr. Harrison, on the grounds for contesting these arrangements, as per my lawyer's statement. In court, it's argued that factors concerning Mrs. Harrison's behavior are crucial for custody and financial decisions. Nicole's attorney objected. Judge Brennan stated, I understand the law, counsel. However, character and conduct are relevant to custody. Mr. Harrison presented evidence of repeated infidelity, which calls into question Mrs. Harrison's judgment and priorities. Nicole appeared pale, while her lawyer seemed annoyed but not overly concerned about one affair. Judge Brennan inquired, Do you have proof of this alleged infidelity? I confirmed, Yes, Your Honor. The number of instances was then questioned, causing anxiety on Nicole's face, as well as confusion among her mother and Lydia, who were in the gallery, unaware they were part of the story. In total, there were 7 affairs disclosed. For 17.5 months, the courtroom fell silent 7 times, prompting a surprised glance from my attorney towards me. I was shaking my head, whispering, No, Your Honor. However, I maintained my composure, asserting that I possessed text messages, credit card statements, hotel receipts, photographs, and video evidence of all 7 affairs. Additionally, I had a private investigator's testimony from surveillance operations. Judge Brennan's facial expression remained unaltered, but I noticed a fleeting glimmer in her eyes. I then presented the documentation to the court, which my attorney distributed to the judge, my opponent, and the court clerk. Upon examination of the initial documents containing text messages between Nicole and Kyle, Nicole's expression shifted to one of distress. Her lawyer seemed to be hastily reading through the pages, evidently understanding that his case was unraveling. Your Honor, I offered, if it's permissible, I'd like to identify the individuals implicated in this case. She granted her nod, and I retrieved my notes. The individuals are Kyle Patterson, Trevor Mills, Dominic Ramirez, Ashton Clark, Dylan Foster, Brandon Caldwell, and Terrence Wu. Upon mentioning Brandon Caldwell, a sound, resembling a gasp or sob, emanated from the gallery, and I noticed Lydia turning towards Nicole. Her face was a blend of disbelief and terror. Nicole's mother stood up, protesting, This can't be true. Ma'am, please sit down, the bailiff said, but Lydia remained standing, staring at her sister. Brandon, you with Brandon? Nicole broke down, covering her face, and Lydia uttered, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. You slept with my husband. Lydia's voice reverberated in the courtroom, prompting Judge Brennan to rap his gavel. This isn't a venue for family disputes, he warned Lydia sternly, suggesting she exit the courtroom if she couldn't maintain control. Lydia reluctantly departed, her shoulders trembling as she exited. Nicole's mother glared at her daughter, a look that seemed capable of stripping paint. Nicole's attorney was now poring over the second file, revealing financial records detailing hotel stays, meals, and a weekend trip to Charleston with Trevor, which Lydia had told me was a work conference. Your Honor, Nicole's lawyer began. We'd like to request a recess to review these records. Denied, Judge Brennan replied. Mr. Harrison, did any of these affairs occur in the family home? Two of them did, Your Honor, Trevor admitted, his jaw tightening. While the children were at school, and I was at work. Do you have evidence of that? The judge asked. Text messages coordinating times and locations, Your Honor, Trevor replied, showing a message where Lydia had arranged a meeting with him. Harrison instructed Kyle Patterson to enter via a side entrance as neighbors recognized his vehicle. Nicole's attorney closed his file and seemed on the verge of resigning. Looking at Nicole, Judge Brennan spent an extra 10 minutes examining papers before asking Mrs. Harrison if she contests any evidence authenticity. Speechless, Nicole merely shook her head. I will grant temporary orders today, the judge announced, awarding primary custody to Mr. Harrison. 1. Harrison will have temporary visitation rights until a comprehensive custody evaluation is completed. I've declined the request for spousal support given the circumstances. We'll reconvene in 30 days for a full hearing. Nicole's attorney attempted to object, but Judge Brennan wasn't receptive. In the marital home, your client engaged in multiple affairs, including one with her sister's husband. I'm not granting custody or financial support due to such behavior. If you wish to appeal my temporary orders, file the necessary paperwork. With that, it ended. Nicole looked devastated. Her lawyer packed his briefcase without looking at her as we exited the courtroom. I spotted Lydia in the corridor. She was on the phone, and I overheard she was contacting a divorce attorney. Her mother was sitting on a bench sobbing. Upon seeing me, Lydia seemed about to scold me for disclosing it publicly, but instead she merely said, "Thank you. I needed to know." Then she walked away. Nicole attempted to call me that night, 17 times. I didn't respond. Her messages varied from apologies to anger to despair. I blocked her number. The divorce process took another 4 months, but the result was inevitable. I obtained primary custody. She received every other weekend supervised visits for the first 6 months. No spousal support. I kept the house. She moved into an apartment. Her relationship with her family never recuperated. Lydia divorced Brandon within 3 months, and I've heard she hasn't spoken to Nicole since. Her mother attempted to remain impartial but eventually had to take a side. She chose the daughter who hadn't betrayed the other daughter. As for the 7 men, Kyle remains unmarried as far as I know, while Trevor is also single. Brandon lost his marriage and relationship with his children, who were enraged when they learned about it. The other men, I have no knowledge of and couldn't care less. My children initially struggled. They didn't comprehend why Mom wasn't around as often. I told them the truth, suitable for their age, not the specifics but the main points. Mom made choices that harmed our family, and Dad had to shield them. They're improving now. We have a routine, we have stability, and they don't see their mother bringing various men around, which was my primary concern. Nicole sought reconciliation several times in the ensuing months, sending letters, appearing at the house once. She claimed she'd changed, that she'd been lost, that she wanted to mend things, but some wounds can't be healed. I discovered the harsh truth that the person I wedded wasn't authentic. She was putting up an act. The real Nicole remained unknown to me, and I had no desire for her in that courtroom when I named 7 men, witnessing her world crumble. That was justice, not revenge, justice. She had spent 18 months deceiving me, breaking our vows, and jeopardizing our children's security. She thought she could continue evading responsibility, but she was mistaken. The most challenging aspect wasn't the betrayal itself. It was the 6-month ordeal of recording it, maintaining a facade while secretly screenshotting her messages, kissing her goodnight, as I knew she had been with someone else during the day. This consumed me, yet it proved worthwhile, because when the time came, I wasn't emotional or impulsive. I was prepared. If there's one piece of advice I would give to anyone experiencing something similar, it's this: document everything. Wait until you're ready to confront, and let not anger dictate your actions. In your slovenly manner, construct your argument as if you were a prosecutor, because in essence, you are. When the judge requests you to present your proof, ensure each word holds weight. That's my account of the day I publicly named 7 men in court, watching as my ex-wife's life crumbled. The day her sister left her side. The day justice was finally served. Thank you for listening. If this narrative echoes with you, please share it. Another may require hearing it.